Breaking news from the Minecraft Washington Bureau. A mayor, sitting on a city council, acting as an agent of the Chinese Communist Party. This is the Arcadia story. Eileen Wang. Let me break it down where it's sourced. Arcadia, California. City council, 5 members, rotating mayor seat. Wang got elected November 2022. That's the chair she took. Up to 60% of Arcadia is Asian. Large Chinese American population. That's the community she was supposed to serve. Instead, she was serving Beijing. That ain't a metaphor. That's the federal charge. Justice Department announced it. Acting as an illegal agent of the People's Republic of China. 10 years in prison on the table. She resigned. Vacated the mayor position immediately. But let's examine what she was doing before that resignation came through. Late 2020 through 2022, that's the window. Wang worked alongside a man named Yaoning Sun, Mike's son, 65 years old, Chino Hills. The two of them operated something called U.S. News Center. Looked like a local news outlet. Presented itself as a source for the Chinese American community. That's the cover. That's the packaging. But the content wasn't coming from journalists. It was coming from PRC government officials. Directives sent directly. Post this. Promote that. Pro-Beijing content dressed up as community news. And Wang admitted she never told the U.S. Attorney General she was operating as a foreign agent. Never disclosed the source of the content on that website. That's the violation right there. Not a gray area. Not complicated. She knew. June 2021. Here's a specific incident. A Chinese official sent an essay draft through WeChat, encrypted messaging app. The directive was clear. Pushback against an LA Times article covering Xinjiang, the Uyghur heartland. Forced labor allegations. Within minutes, Wang and Sun published that piece on U.S. News Center. No forced labor in Xinjiang. That's what the article said. That's what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wanted said. There's a quote from a man named John Chen. Federal prosecutors called him a high-level Chinese government official. November 2021, Chen wrote to Wang directly. Said, quote, "This is what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wants to send." That's not alleged coordination. That's documented coordination. Chen later pleaded guilty to bribery and acting as an unregistered foreign agent. He got 20 months in November 2024. Mike's son, Wang's co-conspirator, pleaded guilty October 2025. 4-year federal prison sentence. Now Wang herself is taking the plea. The network is unraveling. What does this case actually tell us? A sitting mayor, handling city business, shaking hands at community events, and simultaneously executing directives from Beijing. That's the dual role she was playing. Federal officials said it plainly. Individuals who covertly do the bidding of foreign governments undermine our democracy. Not a mild statement. That's the framing coming out of the Bureau, and the FBI called this their top counterintelligence priority. China's influence operations aren't just targeting senators or Pentagon contractors. They're reaching city councils, local seats, rotating mayor positions in California suburbs. That's the scope of the operation. House Committee on Homeland Security put out a China threat snapshot. More than 60 espionage cases on U.S. soil in 4 years. Military information, trade secrets, transnational repression, cyber intrusions, and now local government infiltration. The arm reaches further than most people assumed. This isn't about targeting a community. The Chinese American community in Arcadia wasn't the threat. They were the audience being manipulated. Wang used that community as cover. That's the part that doesn't get said enough. A website pretending to serve local residents was actually pumping out propaganda authored in Beijing. Those residents deserved honest representation. They didn't get it. What happens when a local official is compromised and no one's watching? That's not a hypothetical anymore. It happened. It was documented. 9 sources. Federal charges, a plea agreement. This is accountability reporting. Bureau called the case a warning. Foreign influence reaching even the most local levels. That's the quote from officials. That's the concern on record. Eileen Wang, former Arcadia City Council member, former mayor, now a named agent of a foreign government. Co-conspirators sentenced. Propaganda operation exposed. Website used as a vehicle for CCP messaging. That's the conviction on the table. This has been your LEGO News Accountability Report. Facts sourced, no exaggeration, only what's reported.